episode is brought to you by GameFound. Create a free pledge manager for your project.
Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the Dice Tower. I'm Tom Vassell.
I'm Z Garcia. Hello.
I'm Mike Delisio.
It is a day. We are back finally after taking a few days off after the Spring Spectacular. We're glad to be back. We're glad to be talking about Kickstarters because those certainly haven't calmed down at all, have they?
No.
It's
It's
interesting.
a big week. Lot of projects this week, Tom.
I think there's a lot of projects. I would hesitate to call it a big week. No. I don't mean that in a negative way. I'm saying I don't think there's not many. There's a few big projects, but not a lot.
Right.
So the positive way of saying it's not a big week. Got it.
Yes. It's a garbage week with a lot of garbage. No, actually, I think there's some. I'm actually happy with a lot of these projects. I was enjoying looking through them.
I agree. There's a lot of war games this time too.
Yeah.
That's well
That is
represented in this batch, which is nice.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, with that being said, sorry, folks, I'm still manipulating a few things here on my computer, but I am now ready. Oops, no, I'm not. Let's get started. Let's take a look at the very first one here, which is Crimson Company, Wildwood Tales and Digital. So I actually played the digital version of this one live, and it actually then made me go play the actual game, Crimson Company, which is a two-player back-and-forth strategy game that I really enjoy. Oh, well, there you go. Seal of approval. That was fast. They flipped that around pretty quickly.
So do we know, did the app come out before the board game, or was like the first edition of the board game before the app, and this is a reprint type of a thing?
Yeah, the first edition came out earlier. It was in a small box. It came through the Dice Tower, and it was just one of those games that slipped through the cracks. You know, we just
Got it.
didn't get played. I don't think the cover, even the collector's box cover, I don't know. I'm still not a huge fan of the art in this game per se.
Yeah.
Or even the graphic design. But the gameplay is really fun.
Well, I remember the original one had a cover that looked basically like the card backs. I remember seeing it, but it was very uninspiring. I think the collector's box cover sounds better. I mean, it's still not, necessarily going to grab me by the collar and shake me, but it is much better. I had a little bit of a hard time. I mean, you scroll a bit and then figure it out, but the title made it seem like this was an app. I did not realize this was add-ons to the game. You could get the board game, the card game, and there was a app component to this that then they were sort of doing a stretch goal for, and you could get the app as well. So I was a little confused at first. But I know that Tom has played it, and so he's he's familiar with it. It gives me a vibe of Summoner Wars a little bit. Tom, does it feel a little bit like that?
No, it's not like that at all. Essentially, you have a bunch of characters that you could recruit to your side, and I just decide how much I'll pay for one, and then you will either match that, paying me that amount and taking the character, or you let me pay that much to the bank. And we just go back and forth doing that. You get a little bit of an income each turn, and then when you get them, you put them on in one of three lines, and when you reach, someone gets 4 cards on a line. It's a little like Smash Up in that way. You count the totals on each side. This is better than a 2-player Smash Up for sure. It's a much more strategic game.
Right.
So are you allowed to set a price that's like one more than your opponent has?
Oh yeah, sure. But you get income every round. And if you set one more than your opponent has, you're probably giving up all that money. So then you'll be broke next time. Okay. So you're always thinking about that. And then
that mechanism sounds very much like the forgotten Medici game, the 2-player Medici versus Strozzi game.
Yeah.
In which you set a price, your opponent could buy it for that price, or you would buy it for that price if they said, no, I don't want it.
I actually like that mechanism a lot.
It's a cool idea. I mean, Medici versus Strozzi definitely has more theme and is much more of a captivating theme than this game. It's really, it grabs you, that Medici versus Strozzi. You feel like you're there. You can feel the salt in
I'm
your
going to tell you what, Z.
From the realm of lies and go to our next Kickstarter.
All I'm saying is, if you don't let me play Strozzi, I'm not playing the game. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, I agree. That's the side to play.
Speaking of thematic games, we have Three Sisters, which then on the cover shows 3 pumpkins. So
but they're related.
Yeah.
I think it's more important the second line here where they're like, it's from the designers of Fleet the Dice game.
Yeah, for sure. And it has a similar look to Fleet the Dice game. And so that has my interest because up until very recently, Fleet the Dice game was my favorite roll and write type game out there. It's since been overtaken by Hadrian's Wall, but it's still a fantastic roll and write. And this looks like it's similar in kind of got those combos that are really get your endorphins going. The Fleet the Dice game really leans into that situation where by the mid to late part of the game, every time you choose a die, because it's basically a dice drafting game, every time you choose a die, you're checking off 7 or 8 different things on your sheet, which gives you that satisfying feel. So I'm interested.
Yeah,
all right.
I agree. This looks neat. I like the title. I like the look of this. Their explanation was solid. I really like the name of this company and their logo. Motor City Gameworks is it's a neat sounding company name, and that logo is cool. So I'm enjoying what's going on here. You should definitely highlight everything though, Tom, and then copy paste it.
You know what? I was trying to scroll away to the top. By the way, they do explain why it's called Three Sisters. Right. I was just thinking that if you walked by it on the shelf, you wouldn't know.
Yeah.
So
it's cool.
Anywho. Dirge, the Rust Wars.
Yes.
I actually don't hate this name. That's not a bad name for a game. I like it.
No, and yeah.
You don't like the name?
No, I do like the name. I actually liked the name quite a bit, and this is part of the small box game series that John Cloudis. He's done a bunch of these. I think they're usually really small print runs, very boutique style games. I'm not as familiar with the smaller card games. I really like his kind of one big troops on a map game, Mezzo, quite a bit. His games don't tend to feel like anybody else's games. Either of you played any of his smaller card games?
Oh yeah, I've played several. Tom probably has too. They're good. He's got sort of a collector card game designer's mentality. That's sort of where his brain's at. He makes a lot of games like that. And this one feels very in line with those kinds of games that he makes. You know, this feels like I know he came out with this one called what was it, Tooth and Claw, something like that, with a bunch of animal clans. Remember that, Tom? You know what I'm talking about?
Yes, but I don't remember.
I forget what it was called. That was a neat one. I enjoyed that. His games also have very surreal but well done artwork. Whoever the illustrator is that he works with, they do a good job. Yeah, this looks neat. I don't always, and I'm not always fascinated by his games, but they if you like his games, then that's a pretty good barometer for his upcoming stuff. Because while they are different games, he has a certain feel to his card games, and that's useful information. If you know you like his vibe, you like his style, you'll probably like this one. It looks all right.
You know what it reminds me a little bit of is Carl Chudik is similar in the same way. Like his games all feel very similar, and you kind of know whether you like them or not. I think that might be similar with the John Cloudis games. Yeah,
I agree with that. Yeah.
My only difference in opinion there is I think John Cloudis games are all over the place. Sometimes I think they're really good. Sometimes I think they're very meh. I don't think they're all amazing. But I love the art here, though. I like the art a lot.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Doomlings, the card game, which I would not have even looked at except for the fact that it's made $500,000.
Wow.
Yeah, baby.
Wow. First created. And
there's got to be something else going on here that I'm missing.
Well, the 9 projects he backed are all by the mob. That explains. No, I have no idea. This is. I'm a little bit baffled too. This is not based on anything, as far as I can tell. I don't know.
I know. To me, it looks
Jimmy
like
likes it, I guess.
Yeah, he does. He loves it. It looks to me like he's basically said, okay, what's the template that's being used by Exploding Kittens, the Unicorn game, all of the, the bear
based
game.
on popular comics, though. They have
but does this not look like, you had to ask yourself, didn't you, Tom? Is this based on something? Because it looks like it is.
You're right. I thought it was done by the Unicorn people.
Yeah. So I think he's done a very good job of making this look like something that already has a whole universe connected to it.
All right.
Yes. I mean, the game does not look very good, but doesn't matter. It's making a lot of money, and I'm glad for the guy. I mean, he had a video at the top, which was a very nice video, talking about he and his brother designing this remotely together.
Right.
And so that might be part of it. Perhaps people liked the video and the way he came across in it, which was very well. So yeah, interesting. But yeah, this is not a game that's for me.
Right.
All right, Dealing Dungeons with some lovely artwork here. Hey, 3 ways to play: standard, solo, co-op, and chaos. I'm having a hard time with this artwork, guys.
Are you?
It's okay.
I don't know. I'm ambivalent. Part of me
really
thinks it's actually kind of okay. Other part of me thinks it's maybe too all over the place. Yeah, I don't know.
This isn't the back page of a kid's book in class.
Maybe.
Yeah, I quite dislike it myself.
Yeah. I just don't know. I'm not sure exactly what the game is about. Are you playing just cards face down, or I didn't quite get it. I didn't read the rule book, but
I don't dislike the cards themselves have a good look to them. I just don't like the art.
It seems like that game you've probably played. It's a dungeon in a deck of cards. You go through it, flip over a card. It's a beastie, and you beat it, and then you get loot. I mean, it's
okay.
I actually would name like 4 other games that are basically this game, but I also forgot those games. That's the problem.
I could have wrote that joke. All right,
could have won.
I could have written that joke.
I don't hate the art on this. I really don't.
All right. Monuments. The third game with Monument in its name in the past 12 months, I think. Full Civ experience without the downtime, because that is what every Civilization game has promised in the last 10 years. Stop saying that.
Right.
No, they always like, it's a Civ game, but don't run away, everybody. That's always the pitch.
It's the one thing they're out to fix. Isn't that weird? How that's the one thing. Maybe you should promise a different thing. I mean, because everybody else is promising the same thing. Hey, it's the same monument, civilization building game, except this one's quick. This one's fast. Oh, this one's simultaneous. This one's this one's that. Come on. Like, I feel like maybe they should do one in which, I don't know, you destroy the civilization. It's a 4X game all about deconstructing everything or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
Where's the twist?
Also, I don't know. Would have thought of a different name. We just had Monumental come out, and there's other games with monuments in the name. I think that's confusing. And I know this game is about building monuments, but I would have thought of a different name. That being said, the game is a quick, Civ game about building a monument. I want to know what you guys thought about that. Do you think this cardboard one looks good at all?
No.
Come on.
Doesn't this feel like a bait and switch? You're like, well, this is what you could get, but buy our plastic, please.
Exactly. This is like them promising you, like, these dice will decompose and poison you with slowly released gas, or you can buy the upgrade with normal, regular plastic. Ooh,
the things that will not kill you.
Best.
You can have toxic components, or you can have the deluxe non-toxic components. No, those monuments remind me. They remind me of Lords of Hellas, right? Where you're building those, and that's cool. It's undoubtedly fun. There's a toy factor there. I also kind of like the idea of, hey, you've got 10 action cards, and everyone has. I like games where you have the same action cards, and you kind of play them simultaneously, do a thing. Looks like you can upgrade the cards to flip them to the other side. I don't know. I don't hate the idea of these card-driven civilization games. I don't know if this is going to do anything really different, but I don't know. I don't hate it. It doesn't. The page looks a little. I'm not trying to be mean. It looks a little amateurish in a way, but
that's been Martin's. Martin's been making games for several years now.
Yeah.
This is kind of shtick. I want to talk about these upgraded resources.
Okay.
So I was looking at these super deluxe resources, and I got to these cloth sheep, and I knew beyond a shadow of doubt I've seen these before.
Okay.
We just talked about this maybe a month ago or so. There was a deluxe upgrade component thing campaign. And these bow and arrows were definitely part of that. I remember because I remember the bows and arrows and thinking, why would I need those? And I remember looking at this cloth thinking, why are they showing a pile of dirty rags?
That's exactly right. I remember it. That was the whole campaign, was just upgraded components. I remember that.
And now it has to have something to do with this. It must, because there's no way either or. Yeah.
I kind of like the screen printed wood better anyway.
I do too.
I like the card designs. I agree with you, Mike. I think their iconography and the card design is good. The rest of the components in this game feels so cobbled together. Everything seems like it's from a different game. The plastic monuments with a lot of detail and the stacking idea. Wooden meeples. Plastic component bits that all seem like they're from different games. Like those apples don't match the wood and they don't look coherent at all. I feel like if you upgraded the different things, when you played, it would all feel like found stuff or from your other games. It just I'm not getting a very cohesive kind of final look here, which is unfortunate. I know I overemphasize that. I'm a big that makes a big difference to me, but that would really turn me off of manipulating all these bits that just seem cobbled.
Well, they are not the ones who made that
I guess not.
Upgrade thing.
They just really backed it. They super backed it.
Could be. I played the Dutch East Indies before, so okay. Now I know who this is.
Yeah, I played Tour Operator. It was, Alrighty, let's move on. Gelatinous Soaps by Adventures Essentials.
Again?
You're such a dork, Tom. You are such a dork.
What do you mean again, Mike? We did not talk about this last week.
We've talked about dice stuck within soap before, and I've talked about there's so many problems with this on a practical level. I mean, if you're using the soap to actually wash yourself
Mention 4. Okay. Yeah.
All right. D4, D12, D10, D20.
Right.
There's 4 problems right there. Those, unless you're just trying to sandblast, exfoliate your skin, the idea of dice against, I don't know.
I backed it.
I'm sure you did, Tom.
I think you're being overly ridiculous, Mike. I think the
I
die
agree, Mike, actually, but
like it won't feel rough. It's a smooth plastic die. If anything, you're getting a little massage
and you just keep washing your hands more and more and more, trying to get that die out.
That's dumb.
What you're telling me is that you're going to incorporate dice into your morning hygiene routine. So that's what you're telling me, is that you're going to incorporate dice.
Not only am I going to do that, Mike, I will then have you roll the dice while I giggle to myself because they've just been on my body. You'll be like, yeah, go ahead and pick those up and roll. Yeah, make a cleanliness check. Yes, absolutely, I'll do that.
Let's move on.
I'm all over
Night
Melt,
Market,
baby.
That's right.
So Night Market, if you just told me the name of it, even though the name of it's very innocuous, I would think, are there vampires?
Right.
It sounds like a movie that people get killed. But the cover is of the very colorful night markets that.
Man.
As soon as I saw the cover,
I love this theme. I love this theme.
Man, I've been to these markets at night, and I love going to them at night. There's such a flair to them. I think it's really neat. Now,
what a great theme.
Is the game good? I got a little less excited when I saw the graphic design here. Although
I'm surprised, Tom. I'm surprised to hear you say that. I figured this would be a slam dunk for you because you like the grids so much. And
I do.
I don't know. I figured you would. Mm-hmm.
No.
Yeah.
Maybe just the pictures here that I'm looking at them flat and everything. Maybe when I see the game itself, it will look better.
Well, I'll tell you, the last game I played by Talon Strikes was a game that I loved the theme and I liked the gameplay, but I didn't love the graphic design of it, and that was Vinyl. Tom, did you play Vinyl?
I do like Vinyl, and I actually, man, I love the record. Well, look, there's the Dice Tower approval. The record covers for Vinyl are amazing.
Yeah, it's just that the some of the iconography and such I felt wasn't as great, the graphic design. But and Camp Pine Top I liked a lot too. Yeah, so
Camp Pine
I know you didn't like it as much as I did. But I don't know, man. I dig this theme a whole lot. I think the look of it looks fine, but I don't know. It looks like a little bit of a spatial puzzle thing going.
Yeah, I like the look of this one. Yeah, I have never been to these night markets, Tom. Like you mentioned, you've been there, but I'll tell you, watching the video, I felt I wanted to be there watching the video. They had some footage of actual footage from folks there. It was lovely. I mean, I thought they did a great job with their video explanation and also bringing you into the theme. So I agree, slam dunk on the setting here.
Yep.
All right, then we jump to a war game here, Clash of the Ardennes. Is that how you say it? Ardennes?
Ardennes, probably.
I don't know.
Ardennes.
So this is a battle during World War II, and the artwork is almost comic booky.
It's indicative of it. To me, it feels like the Grizzled. It has a similar aesthetic to me of the Grizzled.
Yeah.
That's what I thought too. It's just not as consistent.
Right.
I've seen some images that I'm like, ooh, that definitely feels like an image from the Grizzled. Some of the other ones just look a little less detailed. Like that's a good one there that we just passed. The tank looks pretty good right there, but some of the other characters have very low facial definition sometimes. I don't know. It seems a little uneven, but I agree. It's a cool look. I like that look.
It looks unique though, where you have this it's like a puzzle board. It doesn't look like a war game actually. It looks, I don't know. I'm surprised this one's not doing better.
Yeah, to me it feels almost more like a card game, right? Where they're using these tiles instead of cards, and there's almost like looks like a spatial element, like you're stacking them higher and higher, and when those two meet in a similar lane, that's when they battle. It's a neat idea, right?
Yeah, I get a MOBA. I get a MOBA kind of feel.
Yeah, for sure. What did you say, Tom? Sorry?
I said this board looks great. It
does.
Snowboard here. I really like that. All right. High Noon. Now, this one is a surprise to me, not because of the Western theme look of this. I don't mind the Western theme at all. I think I'm more surprised because it looks, in my opinion, very amateurish. Very much so. Like the minis look like they are okay minis. The board looks like a board from the 1980s. The artwork is okay. And I don't know. It might be a really fun Western game. I mean, a lot of it also looks like Western Legends too. Like these cards here look like they just fell Western Legends. I don't know. And the fact is, folks, we actually have a box of this here in the studio. They sent us one for whatever reason. Oh, Mike unboxed it. We thought it was a published game.
Right. We didn't know.
I wasn't overly impressed looking at it. I thought, it's Western theme. That looks interesting. But it wasn't one where when Mike showed it to me, I was like, I got to play that right now.
Right.
It doesn't mean it's a bad game.
Right. I do think it's interesting. I think maybe one of the reasons that we did get a copy of it is that, did you notice that this is one that is basically saying, as soon as the money is collected, they're going to ship them out. Like they're already there. So what do you have thoughts on that? I mean, that's not the standard Kickstarter model or crowdsurfing model, I guess is more
that doesn't
broad.
bother me as a backer. In fact, as a backer, I would sit there and go, I'll get the game sooner.
Right.
I'm cool.
Right. Sure.
We have to be careful here at Dice Tower because we don't do here in the main studio, we don't do Kickstarter reviews that Mark Street does those. So when we get a game like this, we thought it was a published game. And when we found out it wasn't, we just took it off the review queue for that purpose.
Right.
We might review it in a few months when the Kickstarter's over.
Right.
Yeah, I agree with everything you said, Tom, about the look and feel of this. So,
yeah. Alrighty. Also, they named the company after the game.
There you go. 10 demerits.
Not a good idea, folks.
Here's Stellaris Infinite Legacy. We're going to take a look at this in just a second. But first, let's head over to Mark.
Hey folks, welcome back to our Dice Tower preview recap. I'm Mark, and today we're going to be hitting the track hoping our horse is in the winner's circle. And we're going to be assembling a team of heroes trying to capture the villains and return them to prison. All right, let's get to it. And first up we have Longshot, the dice game. Yes, this is the dice version of this. And it's a roll and write. And not only that, but you're manipulating horses on a track, but they're these really cool meeple horses. But you're doing all the typical things here. You know, you're betting on horses, you're putting together sets of jerseys and helmets, creating jockey sets for points into the game. And there's concession bonuses that allow you to manipulate the horses, move them forward and back on the track, get money and things like that. But really, it is a race. You're hedging your bets, hoping you buy the right horse and get them in the winner's circle. And next we have Vigilante. This is a superhero-esque type of game. You are building a team of heroes trying to go after the villains who have escaped from prison and gained powers. So they do become pretty powerful and hard to take down, but your goal is to return them to prison. Now, there's a lot more going on than that. You are adding all kinds of equipment to your heroes, things like that, augmenting their powers, making them bigger and better. Now, there's also a social deduction aspect. Some of the players at the table might be evil or neutral. You just don't know. So you're trying to figure that out along the way, trying to fulfill your secret mission, which if you're a good guy, you're trying to jail a certain number of these villains and so forth. So really some interesting twists to this superhero-esque type game. All right, so my pick of the week. You know, I have not typically been a roll and write fan. So the fact that I love Longshot as much as I do, the dice game, is pretty amazing. And I've played it multiple times at this point, but I have to edge it out for Vigilante because I'm a huge superhero fan, definitely one of my favorite genres to play, and it just has a lot of interesting twists to it, like I said, and I love the different equipment and the different heroes and the combinations you can make. Really a fun game. All right, folks, if any of these games look like they might be of interest to you, please go check out our full preview. And if you want your game featured as a Dice Tower preview, please shoot me an email. All right, folks, until next time, we'll see you at the table.
All right, let's go from lobsters to Stellaris here. Infinite Legacy. Now, I feel bad about this. I feel like I should know this game because I'm a big Civ computer game guy, and I never heard of this until this was launched.
I had not either.
Is it a
I
video
like Academy
game?
Games. Yeah.
For the Steam, I think.
Yeah, okay. There we go.
I think I've been debating actually downloading it because I think it works for the Mac, so I might. I don't know. Do I have time to get sucked into another game? They just launched a new Hearthstone expansion yesterday. Anyhow, so it's a Civ game, and there's a lot of ships and a lot of different things going on. Based on that, this game immediately funded, although it has an early bird thing here on the side, 10,275.
Whoa!
It hit that, and then it kind of slowed down dramatically from there.
Right.
It's a fast 2-hour Civ game, though. Hey. That's important.
Yeah.
But that makes an assumption that you think 2 hours is fast. You know what I mean? Is it fast or is it 2 hours? Because they may not necessarily mean the same thing. There are some interesting things. I mean, I like the idea of sliding the cards. I think that is kind of a neat idea. But I don't know. The game is not one that necessarily appeals to my tastes. I don't know. It just is not necessarily a game that I'm excited about, but I can see obviously a lot of people are. I mean, does it give you Xia vibes at all? Or because Xia's not really a 4X game. That's more like a pick up and deliver type sandbox.
More of Xia's more of an adventure game. I don't know what this feels like. There's a lot of parts of it that look cool, and there's just a lot I don't know about the game. I want to like it. And Academy Games has rarely let me down. They've usually done some pretty good stuff. This is bigger than anything they've ever done, I think.
And it also doesn't feel like other games they've done. Am I right? I mean, this isn't something that I would have necessarily pegged for them.
Yeah. So we'll have to see. I mean, comparing this to Eclipse or Twilight Imperium and other games like that, we'll have to wait and see. But it looks interesting. We'll try it out
heavy hitters in this genre. Yeah. It's doing well.
All right, Floriferous. This is the second name that I like today. I don't know why I like this name.
Floriferous is good.
It just sounds good. I'm playing Floriferous.
It goes along with herbaceous. I think my guess is that they're trying to kind of have that same lilt, that same cadence to the word, because those games, these, Floriferous and herbaceous to me seem to be almost sister games, games of a feather, so to speak.
Right, exactly. Yeah, this is a beautiful looking game, and immediately when I saw it, I thought, oh, that looks attractive. I then saw it was pencil first, and I went, aha, okay, these guys have now found a groove with this line anyway of games, with Herbaceous and Sunset Over Water and this, which is a very rewarding style of game, a very relaxing, very attractive, welcoming game. It's supposed to, make you feel very at ease, and I'm hoping this one manages to do that as well. I think the other games do that, without being, without lacking interest, which is the trap there, of course. A game that feels very relaxing is one that, by the very definition of much of gaming, it feels without tension. That's not the case. And this artist is stunning. Her work is stunning.
Yeah, it shows here her drawing and stuff. She's doing some of it in watercolor, which is cool.
It's just beautiful, absolutely gorgeous. And so the game sounds a bit like a bit like a mix between King Domino. Some of the mechanisms sound like King Domino, where you'll pick a card on the next column, and depending on where you ended up, that's the turn order. So that sounds very much like King Domino. And then I got a little bit of a vibe of Point Salad a little bit as well, where some cards you take for scoring and some cards you take for an ability to score. I got a little bit of a vibe of that. I'm not sure if I noticed that correctly or not, but it looks very nice. I'm really into it.
I agree, and I'm with you on the pencil first vibe. I really like what they're doing. I think they're creating a unique niche in the hobby, and I'm glad to see it.
Yeah.
And pencil first plus Steve Finn is a great combo.
Oh yeah, it's fantastic.
All right, back to War. Malta Besieged, Deluxe Edition, 1940 to 1942. This is a solitaire war game, which is another. This is from Old School War Games. In fact, I just played a game from this company. I just was talking about that today. This is a division of Worthington Games. So
yeah, I believe this is one of the States of Siege, which is like kind of an engine, I suppose, or a whole series of games that have kind of used this States of Siege kind of central engine. So I mean, it's the people, obviously it's doing quite well. We've talked in the past about how I think crowdfunding is really opening up this market for the people that like them. It looks like it was originally a VPG game, so make them look better like this. I'm all for it. Why not, right?
Yeah, I agree. This is it makes me happy. These are games that are certainly not for me. I know that.
Yeah.
Everybody else probably knows that, but it still makes me happy to see these games have the ability to find an audience. This has been traditionally hard for games like this, It's hard for a brick and mortar store to stock them. It's hard for them to produce it without the money up front. So this is great. I'm glad that folks who love these games have a direct line to them.
Right.
All right, FlickFleet Box of Flicks 2. Remember when I was talking about good names?
Uh-huh.
Oh.
Tom, I could have swore we covered some version of this game already. Am I wrong?
Well, probably. This is FlickFleet Box of Flicks 2.
Oh, all right.
I really hate how these ships look. I really do. I know you're flicking stuff off them, but I mean, I don't know. This just feels cheap is the word here, I think.
I'm not really terribly excited about this, but for some reason I thought you liked this, Tom. Maybe I might.
I like clicking games, and maybe I like the first one, but this one is not doing it for me. Like this ship here, if it's deluxe, it looks okay. If it's standard, it looks horrible. Like I would.
Does the deluxe one look any better? I'm sorry.
Well, it looks a little better. I'm saying that standard should not even exist.
Right.
Doesn't look great. You can print and play your own though.
How do you print and play this? 3D print, I guess?
Yeah.
Paper.
Yeah. It's all plastic, right? It's
Have you not played that football game? You flick the paper.
Yeah, right. Flick the football. Yeah, I don't. This is I'm not feeling it.
All right.
Built for war. Design, build, and destroy World War II tanks. And this is also another solo game. This is from Mr. B Games, who is not known for either war games or solo games. I mean, he's done a few that are adjacent to this, but this looks like, man, that cover, they're definitely trying to get you to think Panzer Blitz.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Word, that cover, from the colors to the composition. I mean, Avalon Hill's out of business, but if they weren't, I would say someone would be running over with a copyright infringement, I would imagine.
Yeah. It's a cool cover. I like it quite
evocative.
a bit.
Yes.
Let me pull that up here. Let's see. Panzer Blitz. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe the covers aren't as similar as I thought. But I was thinking that reminded me of that.
When you said that, it rang true, Tom.
Yeah,
so
look at that. Look at that.
Yeah, look at that
over here.
Yeah, that's for sure. Yeah.
World War. Look, the gun is pointing in the same direction.
Wow. I did not realize they were that close.
Yeah.
Huh.
Whoa.
Well, again,
are we sure it's not some reworking of Panzer Blitz?
It's a good question.
Again.
John.
Now this is Travis Meredith.
Okay. Well, yeah, that's quite the cover. It's a good looking cover. I understand why they look similar and why you would want to
copied it on purpose. It's an homage. They're saying. Okay, I get that, and I don't think anyone's
actually get that. Amish? Doesn't look Amish.
But you said they acknowledged it there.
Someone said that
if you acknowledge, you can steal. That's what I've learned.
Correct.
I'm not calling it stealing. What are you talking about?
Z, I just want to let you know I'm a huge fan of your big screen TV.
It's yours now.
I've also decided to change my name to V. So there's no confusion. All right. Aventuria, the game that never dies. Epic adventures and extraordinary heroes.
Yeah, this is something I reviewed recently. I reviewed the core game, and this is as far as I can tell a reprint. This is out. This stuff is available. I've got some of it right here. In fact,
there's a lot. Have you even dove into this at all?
A little. I mean, yes, I've read through it. I've messed with it a little bit. It's there's a lot, and the boxes are different. Like, for example, that box that they showed at first with I believe she's a dancer on the cover.
No, she's a daughter. Maybe she's a dancer too. I don't know.
That box there is solitaire focused. And so that's a very different thing. It's adventure focused. There's kind of two modes in the game, adventure and kind of head-to-head. The adventure game is really where it's at. And that one especially has this whole board grid thing. It's solitaire. It's a very different thing. So getting into that box requires kind of learning another game. But the game is fun. I really liked Aventuria. I thought it was a neat system. It feels... It's a very straightforward kind of RPG session.
Is it a Pathfinder vibe? Is it kind of like Pathfinder adventure card game?
No, not really. The setting, the setting's kind of D&D-ish. It's its own world called the Dark Eye, but it's kind of D&D. And but the game feels more like a collectible card game, Mike. That's kind of what it feels like, a fairly simple collectible card game. It's neat. It gave me somehow managed to make me feel nostalgic for something I have no idea about, and that's an interesting thing to achieve. So I like that.
Yeah, for sure.
All right. Oh wait, there we go.
It's expensive though, man. Some of those later pledges, whoo,
it's a lot of stuff.
It's like, yeah.
Alrighty.
All right, what's next after this, Tom?
SwiftWave.
Z's trying to skip it already.
Uh-huh.
Here's my only thing. I actually did not hate the design of these cards. It gave me a real Electric Company vibe.
Yeah, that's interesting. Okay.
This game.
You don't remember the Electric Company, Z, from Children's Workshop?
He would not have remembered it. It was not of his era.
It
was a cool alternative to Sesame Street.
Sesame Street, yeah. It was like for little older kids.
Okay, no, I don't know
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12.
T-I-O-N, shun.
That's all I care about this game. Moving on. Mm-hmm. All right.
It's Uno.
Crayne. Crayne. Fractured Empire.
It's Crayne. They said
Crayne, I think. I think it's Crayne, although you were almost saying the Indiana version of crayon there. People in Indiana tend to say crown for crayon, I've found. Crayne.
Here's a good example of something Z hates, where there's two styles of artwork in the same picture even.
Uh-huh.
That one isn't too problematic. It's just so generic looking.
Yeah, but it goes back. It goes from this art to this art to the saddest elf ever art. That elf is super sad.
Yeah, this looks I don't know. Again, that font, you bring out the font that every other game who's ever used this theme has used. It's like when you see a Viking game and the one thing you notice the most is the mediocre artwork and the Viking font. I'm done. Right. I'm done looking at it. You know what I mean? It's like, this is so lazy. I get that you want your font to be thematic. I get that, but effort, standing out, those things are worthwhile. This cat is cutting air or like shaving? I'm confused.
It says
the shapeshifter.
It's not his arm. He's standing there going, have some cotton candy. And you were cutting some of the cotton candy off for a delicious dessert after the fight.
Correct.
It's a storytelling game. Got it.
I just like how he's sitting there like, do what you will. I'm telling you, though, that art and this art is not the same.
That is
very it's definitely different. Very different, yeah.
That's a
then
cool
there's zombies. Yeah, I think I don't like the way the cards look at all, though. The art, I'm okay. It's whatever. But those cards, this might be a good game. I'm hesitant on it. All right.
Yeah.
Pixels, the electronic dice. Now this is...
Oh, yeah!
$3 million. $3 million.
Well, that's
just for one set of dice.
Kickstarter of the week, right?
Yeah.
The dice here, and there's like a really unique way to charge them. Now you gotta admit, Mike, when they're throwing those dice in, they look pretty cool.
Tom, I like to give grief about dice things, and these are not cheap, but these are slick. I mean, these look really cool. I love the fact that you can control them with your phone. They're waterproof. I mean, like, if you're going to geek out over dice, this I get. The stuff you stick in a stupid piece of soap, I don't get. This, I get, right? This is a showpiece.
In a piece of soap.
Yeah, if I could get these in soap and the soap lights up, I would be into that. Yes.
That's a game changer. That's a date right there. That's all you need.
Okay, so joking aside, this past Christmas, I bought lights for the tree that hooked up to your phone and you could build patterns on them.
Yeah.
I'm really happy with those. They are fantastic. And this gives me that same kind of vibe. I'm like, you know what? Sure. I'm tired of rolling the purple die. It's changing to orange.
Right. Now, they look very slick. They're not cheap, but I feel like they're probably worth it.
One for $40.
Yeah.
You know what, though? There are non-electronic dice that are sold one for $40.
I don't own those either. It's a lot of money. Okay.
Stocking stuff over here. Wait, will we get these in time for Christmas? We will not. You'll get a little card that says Kickstarter coming soon in your stocking.
That's correct.
The good thing about these is if they run out of charge, they're still just dice. I like that.
Right. That is true.
Oh, no. You could charge them. Is it on the 20 side or something?
What are you talking about?
Yeah, it's here, Z. It has a charging side to it.
I know.
He's just saying even if they run out of charge,
if they run out of charge, you just roll them. It's just a die at that point. You know, it doesn't matter. So, I do like them in that water. In the that's cool.
But if you're not submerging your dice in water, right.
That's neat. That looks cool. That looks like a fun party kind of thing.
Also, if you want to play Liar's Dice at the beach, that's the way to go. Right there. You're covered now.
Could you imagine? All right.
Hey, what's the deal with but then there's like a whole app thing. You can use them in an app, right? In some sort of
they work with the app can tell what number you roll, so that would work.
Yeah, they integrate.
Yeah, that's cool. I liked that part, but I think it's some sort of role playing app.
All right, look, guys, we don't have to pay $40. We can go down to 44. I'll buy 4 of them.
Ooh,
for $149.
4 individual dice. But you can get a set for $200, Tom, and you get a case.
Interesting. That gives me 2 free dice.
Oh, jeez.
All right. Anyway, Gloomier, A Night at Hemlock Hall. Folks, if there ever is something to prove that all you need is a basically good selling game to do a good Kickstarter, this is it. Because Gloom has sold very well over the years from Atlas Games. And now they got Gloomier, which is a standalone sequel, which is the way to do it. You never played Gloom before? Who cares? If you love Gloom, you got to get this.
Yep.
Gloom is one of the first games that used clear cards that looked and sounded cooler than they were. As a heads up, folks, I think the game is okay at best. It is just take that game. You are trying to make your people as miserable as you can and have them die miserably. That's the theme of the game.
Well, the game was always originally sold as, and they still push this agenda, a storytelling game, which I never understood. I'll be honest with you. I've played this game. I used to own the original printing, which was terrible because the cards would scratch for the very first printing, and the company never did get back to me about replacing those. So I'm not very happy with you, Atlas. That was like 14 years ago. Whatever. But I hold a mega grudge. But anyway, the game is, they always sold it as like, you tell a story about the events that befall them. But there's there isn't any, like if I handed you this game and I said, here, play, you wouldn't know it's a storytelling game.
No, not at all.
It's like it's something that I feel like after the game was designed, somebody started doing it in their office and they were like, we got to push this. This is fun to do this. So I always lose that about it. I never got into that part of it.
Right. Yeah, I think it's a game that it's one of the first like modern games that I played within the first few years of playing games, and I remember being taken with the transparent cards.
Yeah.
And I think the theme. I think that's really what this.
I like the theme. Is. Although people in the comments are mentioning it's Gloom, Gloomer, and then Gloomier, Gloomhaven. There's a small jump between the second and third game.
Yeah, correct. Yes. That is that's a lot of stuff you can buy there for $250. Wow.
$250. That's a lot of Gloom.
All right. Heads will roll. Okay, so this is a game
doing
which you're
better
rolling.
than I expected.
Well, here's the thing.
Yeah, it's from
this game has been at conventions at the Lay Waste booth for, I want to say, 3 or 4 years. Like I want to say that this was always a little thing that they had off to the side that you could play. They just did it kind of as a little fun thing to get people to look at their metal pieces. I think now they're kind of turning it into more of an actual project. But I remember seeing people playing Heads Will Roll, like I said, 2-3 years ago at Origins and Gen Con at their booth. So I just think that
this is that company that for some reason, even though you are a good gamer, you are rationally like Dragoon.
I do like Dragoon, and I understand
from Dragoon.
I get why people look. It doesn't really do well for my quote unquote gamer cred, but I have a soft spot in my heart.
I don't care about that. I mean, you can like what you It's just surprising. I mean, it is essentially roll and move almost. It's
one of those. Really, I told you I'm going to try to push this thing. To me, it's one of those popcorn games I was talking about. It's a game where you check your mind at the door and you just play it for what it is. So, but I get it.
Just because I like saying the name of the game.
Dragoon or Heads Will Roll?
Heads Will Roll. I love that.
Yeah,
that one.
It's just a little dexterity game. Yeah.
Their components are fantastic. We can vouch for that. So
yes.
Folks, I put the poll in the comments. You can vote on the games you think are most interesting here, and we'll find out what the people's choice is while people are voting. Let's take a look at some non-game projects. First of all, Bowio. This one's making $396,000. Read in style. Now, I've already outgrown this on one level because I just use my iPad to read at night. Much easier. It has a backlight. At first, I thought this was kind of dorky, but I could see as a kid, I'll tell you, holding a flashlight and a book at the same time at night was a real pain in the neck. It really was.
Stereotype, Tom. You're such a
but I was
do it under a pillow fort?
Mm-hmm.
See, that's not the point.
Yeah.
The point is,
I think your memories of being a child are implanted. That's what they sound like to me. Anyway, I think this is great. This looks really neat. I kept looking at this. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, it's cool.
I kept looking at the images. I kept reading about it. I was like, man, this is nice. They're not super cheap, but they are sort of high end. That's how they're selling this as a fine product, made from leather and with a very high class finish. It's a nice. I mean, I think it's a great product. I really do. I hope it works as well as they're saying it does. Because I'd be into it.
It's one of those things that looks like it would be a really good gift for readers that
Absolutely.
Be unique.
This is an unforgettable gift. It's a beautiful, right.
And it's pretty close. It's delivery October. That's not too far away.
Yeah,
so
it's not too bad. Mm-hmm.
Now you can buy just a cube.
I was so confused by this. I kept looking at it thinking, what does this do?
It's a cheese grater. That's what it looks like. You know what happened? Some guy did this, and his friends came over his house and said, "That's really cool."
That's
and he's
cool.
like, I should sell these. And if I'll admit, if I was at a garage sale and this was on the table and it was like $5, I go, yeah, I could use that as a piece of art. I just wouldn't want to pay more than that. I definitely wouldn't want to pay $125.
Could it work as a dice tower, Tom?
No, it's too small, I think.
Okay.
But you can buy a wooden box to put your metal cube in. I love it. It's like
what does this do? I don't get it. It's nothing, right?
It's just a showpiece. It's just
it's an ornament.
Desk ornament. It's a desk ornament conversation piece. Apparently, Bullet Bill is involved as well. I don't know why. But...
Yeah, I don't know why Bullet Bill's there.
I don't get it at all. This is so dumb.
Yeah, that one. See, what about this next one? The Thinking Egg 2.
$413,000.
I'm sorry. This one here is straight up pet rock material.
It is.
That is what this is. The whole thing of like, ooh, if you have this, you're cool. This is like a hipster. I so dislike this project because it's like if you have it, then you're in some Zen mode. But if you don't have it, your life is busy and garbage. I could pick up a rock off the ground and do the same thing.
What are your thoughts of the name of the company? The spelling of the name there. Are you a fan of that? Origin with a J.
Right? Origin with a J. That really is like pretentious, though, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
I'm sure these are.
I'm backing
good quality.
it.
So. You lie, your teeth. You ain't backing this.
I'm getting that tiger's eye.
I don't hate the idea of, hey, everyone slow down, and especially in times right now, a lot of people are struggling to kind of find their place, and so I don't mean to diminish that. I like the idea of getting people to get into a place that makes them happy and more relaxed and everything. But do you need to spend the money on a polished rock to do it, or steel?
No.
You don't, right?
Marble will do the same thing for you.
Right.
Yeah, no, this is like the most expensive, pretentious fidget spinner ever. This is no. Or like a fidget thingy, you know what I mean? Not a fidget spinner necessarily, but that kind of thing. Here they show you like, oh look, because it's shaped like an egg and heavy, you can do this to it. It's like, come on.
That's because it's Easter week this week. You're like, oh, let's back this for Easter.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Last project here. This. All right, sorry. The HAVA Mug. It's a self-heating smart mug used by giants, but now available for normal humans. Come on now.
That's a big mug.
Is 7-Eleven selling this? The big gulp smart mug?
That's a large mug. That's a large mug.
The bottom half of it, or probably the bottom third of it, is a heating element, Tom. So it's not that big. It's just very tall.
Couldn't you just buy a coffee set and just pour yourself some more coffee if you're running out? Or
3/4 of the mug, Tom, is a nuclear powered centrifuge. I mean, you're only getting about 3 ounces of liquid
here.
At any point, do they show the inside? Because I think it's probably a third is probably that heating element.
You might guess.
I love all these people holding it, and they're trying to look casual. They're trying to look like, yep. And the guy's like, oh, this thing's so heavy. Why did I agree to do this photo shoot?
I kind of agree with that. They do all look like they're trying really hard to be casual. I assume it's got some heft. You're right. I hadn't thought about that, but you're probably right. Yeah.
That being said, I got to tell you, there's some stupid aspect of me that likes the swiping on the mug to heat it up or cool it down. I kind of like that.
I liked that about the light we looked at, the reading light.
Yeah.
It had this little dial where you would like increase the light or decrease it by like running your finger in a circle. But now, no, I like the book light of the weird stuff we looked at today. The book light is by far the best. This is nuts, and it's expensive to boot.
It is. Folks, if you find cool or ridiculous projects, send them to me at tom@dicetower.com. They may not make the show, but I found this one to be highly amusing because this is one of those as seen on TV gifts for sure.
Yeah.
So, alrighty, it's time to do our picks of the week. Mike, I'm gonna guess yours.
This is a tough one, Tom. I'm neck and neck between two.
I think it's between two games. I think it's between for you. I think it's between Dark Markets and Floriferous.
Night Market and Floriferous. You're exactly right. You are getting to know me very well.
And I'm going to go with Night Market because it's more unique.
That you're right. It's the theme. It's real close. I was like right on the edge with both of those, but I'm going to go with Night Market because I just love this theme, and I hope it's as good as it looks. Here's the thing: is I kind of feel like I know that Floriferous is going to be. I kind of feel like I know what that's about, and I know I'm going to like it. This is one where there's a little bit of that intrigue of, ooh, is it going to be good? You know what I mean?
Right.
Well, see, if we ever go to Japan for one of these, like Tokyo Market or Korea or something, we'll have to go to one of these night markets because they are as good as this video makes them out to be.
I would love that. This looks very captivating. It made me miss travel. And going to a cool place like this is beautiful. It's the footage was lovely. Mm-hmm. For me, it was between. Am I next? I'm guessing I'm next. For me, it was between Floriferous and the HAVA Mug, and I'm gonna go with Floriferous. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Good. So we got both of my games covered. Yeah. Nice.
It looks very beautiful, very captivating, gentle. Warm. It's lovely. I hope the game is as good as it sounds. I'm sure it's not going to be a big grandiose game. It's a very simple little filler. But with artwork like that, I really just need that game to be basically competent. And it looks like such a sister game to Herbaceous that it's almost like you need it. You know what I mean? They'll pair so beautifully. So yeah, beautiful.
Good call.
All right, what's mine?
Yours. Oh, Tom.
I'm going to go with the Pixels electronic dice or the soap.
That's correct. There wasn't any. I mean, there was some okay games for me this week. There wasn't anything that really captured me. But these dice, although I have to admit, I still have 7 days here. I haven't backed it yet. It's really expensive. And I was thinking, I want to get one, but it's so expensive. I'm debating on that.
My thing is, if you're going to get one, you need to get the whole shebang. You're gonna pay $40 for one. Come on, get the whhole set, Tom. Matter of fact, get the retail. Get the retail set.
And then after that, you can buy a fog machine, a fogger, and really now you're playing in style.
That's it.
All right. Well, people's choice is the same as one of ours. Which one?
Floriferous.
Floriferous, I guess.
That is correct. Floriferous, the people's choice, although it was very close. It just barely beat out Three Sisters and Stellaris. There was not a clear winner this week. Those three were at the top, and then the dice was 4, and Night Market number 5. And number 6, Gelatinous Soaps.
Oh, come on. That's just trolling me. Three Sisters looks really good, too, though, actually. That looks really good, too.
Which ones are you getting, Tom? What soap scents are you getting?
Oh, what did I pick? I don't remember now.
You picked the lemon sherbet, the fizzy lemon sherbet.
Actually, is that actually what you picked? Because that would be my favorite.
I didn't have to pick them yet. I just backed it.
Okay. The lemon is my go-to. I love a good lemon soap. I really like
to smell pomegranate, though. Pomegranate's pretty good.
I don't know if they've unlocked that one yet, though.
Oh, they haven't? Oh, come on, man. Oh, blackcurrant.
Black currant.
That is misspelled for sure.
You know what? They're dice makers and soap makers, not grammaticians. Just leave them alone.
Those numbers are misspelled.
Correct.
That is a 12, not a 7.
All right.
Well,
cool. That's it, folks. Thanks so much for watching another Crowdsurfing. We'll be back. We're back live tomorrow morning with Board Game Breakfast. We'll see you all then. We got many, many videos scheduled to go up over the next part of this week. So we're back. We'll see y'all later. Until next time, I'm Tom Vassell.
I'm Z Garcia.
I'm Mike Delisio.
Have fun with Dice and Soap.